Very smooth.
Taking the action over and over again strengthens your will, nurtures the seed, and establishes a solid foundation for the new habit to grow. After many repetitions, these new agreements will become second nature, and you will see how the magic of your word transforms you from a black magician into a white magician. A white magician uses the word for creation, giving, sharing, and loving. By making this one agreement a habit, your whole life will be completely transformed. When you transform your whole dream, magic just happens in your life. What you need comes to you easily because spirit moves freely through you. This is a mastery of intent, the mastery of the spirit, the mastery of love, the mastery of gratitude, and the mastery of life. This is the goal of the Toltec. This is the path to personal freedom. There's just one more agreement, but it's the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained habits. The fourth agreement is about the action of the first three. Always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best, no more and no less. But keep in mind that your best is never going to be the same from one moment to the next. Everything is alive and changing all the time, so your best will sometimes be high quality, while other times it will be not as good. When you wake up refreshed and energized in the morning, your best will be better than when you're tired at night. Your best will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick, or sober as opposed to drunk. Your best will depend on whether you're feeling wonderful and happy, or upset, angry, or jealous. In your everyday moves, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to another. Your best will also change over time. As you build a habit of the four new agreements, your best will become better than it used to be. Oh, hello. I didn't see you guys come in there. Welcome to Bitcoin Talk Show. Today is July 4th, 2019. My name is Thomas Hunt, and I'm joined by Michael Dupree. How's it going, Michael?
I'm quite well. Thank you, Thomas.
Well, this is Bitcoin Talk Show, so I guess we should get down to talking about Bitcoin. That was a short reading there from the Four Agreements. I guess the camera's over there. The Four Agreements, a Toltec wisdom book by Don Miguel Ruiz. So check that out on the Amazons or wherever you get your books. We're going to share the screen right now. We're going to go full screen, so hold on. There we go. We made it. And we're checking it out, the World Crypto Network Twitter, and we're checking out what's going on in Bitcoin today. Looks like the price of Bitcoin is down 2.2% in the last 24 hours, with a last of 11,710, a high of 12,043, and a low of 11,048. That's $1 for 8,540 Satoshis. Checking out our top story today, Bitcoin rallies 2K in 24 hours, but the price hurdles remain intact. What do you think, Mike? Is it going up or down?
Both.
It always goes both at the same time. Let's see. The Bitcoin price report, retail investor enthusiasm has returned. Everyone's trying to judge Bitcoin by the power of Google Trends. What do you think, Mike? Is Google Trends the be-all and say-all for people in Bitcoin?
I'm not so sure. I don't underestimate the value of Google being able to analyze us, for sure. They know better what we're doing than we do. But I'm not sure that Google Trends forecast Bitcoin at all. And retail investors, I'm not sure if we can judge their enthusiasm based upon Google Trends. So yeah, we need more retail investors. No, I don't trust Google to tell me whether or not they're interested.
There's also a lot to say that if you Googled Bitcoin last time, you don't necessarily need to Google it this time. Maybe you already learned what Bitcoin is when you feel like Bitcoin, or you go to local Bitcoins or EasyBit or wherever you go these days to buy your Bitcoins. But yeah, they don't need to read about it a second time. Maybe that's not why they're Google searching it. Or maybe it's because the institutions are here. The institutions are buying up all the Bitcoin. You waited so long. You told all your family and all your friends, you mortgaged your house. You bought all the Bitcoins you could. And now the banks are here to take care of it. They'll buy the rest of the Bitcoins for you. Is this the end of normal people buying Bitcoins, Mike?
I don't think so, but I certainly hope that more retail and institutional investors get involved. And yeah, more people buy more Bitcoins is more better.
And a lot of people tell me that Bitcoin's too inexpensive. They said, oh, $300, I can't buy that. $1,000, I can't buy that. But now we're talking $10,000, $11,000 of Bitcoin. Now it's time to invest, right? These people who have been waiting on the sidelines forever and forever and forever.
Well, I thought $3 was too expensive. So it's never too late to invest. Just as I always recommend to everyone, do some kind of cost averaging, invest a little bit every week for the next year. Don't try and buy the highs or sell the lows or the other way around.
And don't get too caught up in putting in a lot of money. I had a problem at first where I couldn't put in $1,000 because I didn't want to lose $1,000. Now, of course, that thousand would have been millions now, but I ended up with zero because I couldn't even start. So if you just start by getting $20 worth of Bitcoin, maybe buy $100 a month, they've got some good recurring plans. Unfortunately, no one else is offering this, but Coinbase does have them. Cash App is good on your phone. By Square and the old Jack Dorsey from Twitter.
And if you don't mind, I recommend BitWage. They allow you to put your wages or a percentage of them. So, for example, you can put 5% of what you're paid per month automatically into Bitcoin. They accommodate this. I don't work for them or anything, but they're good guys, and I definitely recommend checking them out.
Yeah, I also don't work for BitWage or paid by them. But what's neat about their system is your checking person or whatever, your accountant, doesn't have to set up anything special. They just use this idea where you can put money in your checking account and money in your savings account. The money you put in your savings account, BitWage will automatically buy Bitcoin with that money. So it's not a new fancy system. People are freaking out.
It's a volatile investment. Put 5% of what you earn in it or something like that. Wait a couple of years and see how it works out for you. Historically, it's worked out better than the traditional system. So I say, why not give it a try?
It's done good, but you also
anything you can't afford to lose.
You never know when the height is. This could be another top.
Don't trade.
Don't trade. It's always difficult. But
don't trade. Buy
let's see what else we've got going on. Blockstream launches atomic swaps on liquid Bitcoin sidechain. Have you been following this one, Mike?
No, on this one I'm not too familiar. I'm not sure why it's necessary, but let's.
They've created a great token here on the liquid sidechain that people can use to swap when they don't want to use Bitcoin for some reason. And it's pretty trustworthy. It's not as trustworthy as Bitcoin. It's on a sidechain. But it's one of the things they're working on because everyone just loves these little new coins that are little parts of other things. And wouldn't it be better if they were just on the Bitcoin network? I think that's the basic thing they're going for here.
It's where the majority of the trust and the majority of the market capital are. So, I mean, people ask me this all the time in the ATMs. Why don't we have 1,000 different coins? Because 99% of people hold 99% of the value is in Bitcoin right now. So I think all these side chains are just distracting from the core development, and that we should focus on that, not on making 100 different people that we have to trust instead of a decentralized trustless system.
It is nice to see them building sidechains on Bitcoin, though, where the majority of the processing power is. So it just makes more sense using that all as a network. And finally, we've got the Chinese media is all praises for Bitcoin. That's right. They're back again. Certainly, Mike, you've been in Bitcoin a long time. You remember how many times China has banned Bitcoin?
Well, I mean, probably tomorrow, I guess, if today they're praising it. So
it's pretty much how it goes over there.
I do love Hong Kong, but in China, man, it's and the Chinese translation to English media is just a complete joke as well. So, yeah, when they come out with titles like this, you just have to ask yourself, like, what the heck exactly do they mean is going on over there?
It just sounds like they've turned on price charts on one of the major Chinese financial sites, and that one of the Chinese media sources was no longer listing Bitcoin as a negative. Let's see, they said Bitcoin is a haven asset. It is no longer an outlier.
Okay, but
argument.
what price are they? How does that relate to the actual reality of Bitcoin? How do we compare to Bitcoin Average or to Kraken or Bitstamp or even what is BTCE now?
This is Sinha Finance has added it to their system.
And
they say that it's a major system.
Can you click on it and see the price right now?
I'm not sure we could click through this, but it does seem really that it's just been added to a price chart system.
What are those prices?
It's no longer seen. These are the
11,351. When was that?
Seems recent. It's an image from Twitter. This was July the 3rd at 9 a.m.
Okay, so that's in line with actual average market prices. It's not too crazy.
Mm-hmm. Not like when they were having the infinite free trading Whenever they have infinite free trading, it's so much fun to wash trade. Yes.
It definitely increases the volumes a lot.
And finally, Bitcoin's energy consumption equals that of Switzerland.
I
Way to
think
go,
actually this
Bitcoin.
happens in
Dun, dun,
Iceland
dun,
as
dun,
well.
dun,
That
dun,
in
dun.
Iceland there's more energy consumed mining Bitcoin than all of the households in Iceland combined.
There's just not a lot of people that live in Iceland.
There are a lot of Bitcoin miners over there, though.
But again, we've got a great story from Hacker Noon where he talks about the Bitcoin versus Visa electricity consumption fallacy. And of course, everyone remembers that U.S. Christmas lights use more energy than entire countries. That's right. 6.63 billion kilowatt hours of electricity is used by Christmas lights, where around 7 is used for Bitcoin. So what's more important, a brand new financial system or twinkly lights around the holidays?
I think that when you remember these new these new innovative financial systems, that you can't just look at the energy consumption costs. You have to remember that in the traditional financial system, there's thousands and thousands of employees overhead playing around with regulations and policies and all these kind of things that are incorporated into the costs. So we can't just say that, hey, Christmas lights use more than Bitcoin or less than Bitcoin. It's not really relevant. There's a lot more to the space than that.
All right, and we're getting ready to start the interactive part of the show. We're putting out the Skype chat line now. We've got the Mad Bitcoins fundraiser on the screen. We did get one more donation. We're up to 18 donations, 64% of the way to our goal.
18 donations in 5 years. You're doing really good there, Thomas.
18 donations, less than 5 years. But it is going slow, steady, but slow and steady wins the race, like they say. We're going to check in with the chat here. We're up on the old Twitter, Mad Bitcoins. One new notification. That's not a lot of favorites and retweets. Here it is. Za says lol. There we go. Let's see what you guys have been saying while I've been talking. Uvas had his eardrums braced. He was ready for this. They want to hear all the effects. I did nothing. That's the same thing this button does, actually.
Who's better, the button or me?
Let's see. Bud Thompson says, and a good day to you, sir. Joint Specialist says, Happy Independence Day.
I need a joint specialist, please.
Dan Williams should get his eyes checked. You never see us coming into the room. Yes, it always seems to open like that. Uvas, our Bitcoin ninja, is sneaking into the room. Give us some thumbs up right there. Clap it up. We got China back. And yes, does anyone have an upside down camera to call in? They're saying put it all on black. He's ordering out Chinese for celebration of Independence Day. I'm not sure that's the right holiday. I'm not sure you got that right there.
I would do that on Chinese New Year's.
We're going
maybe
back to the camera here. And we've got a special feature today. We're going to check our voicemail here on the World Crypto Network for the first time ever. Theoretically, is this going to work? Now, I want to keep in mind this is time travel right here. So hold on to your hats. We're going to go all the way back to August 13th, 2018. Let's see what this guy sent us in voicemail.
I remember that day specifically.
So here we go. Play the voicemail.
Thomas knows exactly how to knows exactly how to use all new gear.
So let me try one more time. Play the voicemail. No?
Did you turn it on? You plug it in?
Oh, the Bluetooth.
There you go.
Oh, one more try. One more try. This is going to work.
It's all a learning curve. We'll get it before Bitcoin's a million. No problem.
Hey, Thomas, it's Jim from San Diego. I guess I'll try you some other time.
All right. Thanks, Jim from San Diego. Give us a call another time.
We should probably pre-screen these.
Hey, what's going on? This is Dean calling from New York City. You can reach me at 914.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Giving us
966.
All right.
Show is still going live. Maybe I was watching a replay. Anyway, just a comment on the Bitcoin price, and I had some mostly positive things to say about people not stressing about it and buying more if it goes lower. All right, buddy. Take care, Thomas.
I would say also keep buying as it goes higher. It's never too late to get in. I mean,
that was from August 14th, 2018. We got another call here from August 14th, 2018. Let's see what this guy says.
Well, these guys back in 2018, it was 25K a Bitcoin, I think, back then. So they would be actually down if they'd jumped in.
Hey, Thomas. I know we're getting a lot of crank callers on the network. It's Gestetner. You know what? There's got to be a way to screen the calls before you get them live on YouTube.
I just said that.
Perhaps you could look into that. But it does ruin it for the rest of us who want to use your 518 number instead of Skype.
1-800-MAG-BITCOIN.
Didn't work out today. Talk to you later.
Oh, I was totally bummed out. Sorry about
we're
that,
3 out of
Gestetner.
3 fails on that, Thomas.
Let's see. Here we go. 4 seconds. Transcript not available. Sounds promising.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful call. Oh, the hang up. Okay, so
Hello,
that's
this
from the
is
same
the
day.
debt collection agency. Please return our call at your earliest convenience.
know that.
We'll be at your work tomorrow.
I know we,
Other people, stop giving your phone number.
my email is.
He's just entirely giving out his information. All right, here we go. This guy is going to rat me out for not running the Brave Bears. August 15th, 2018.
John McLaughlin would be ashamed. You don't run Brave browser. I can't believe it. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. This is Joe from Wyoming. The Brave browser is so easy. It's ad blocks, and they will give you
Stop playing.
What
There we go.
do you think about Brave Browser, Thomas?
I think it's okay.
token to pay people who you visit, the sites that you visit. Very cool.
Guy's
And the
fired up.
guy he's rocking. He's got more money than Croesus. He's
Thank
not doing
Croesus.
this for his ego. And it's a great project. You should look at it and get a QR code for Brave, for a basic attention token, which will be automatically sent to you by the people who watch the World Crypto Network. Anyway, bye-bye.
Is this the Brave Browser we're talking about? I'm a bit confused with this guy's
Well,
even.
basically, I've got to go install the Brave browser now. I think this is the same guy. Somebody emailed me recently, and they're like, I've been sending you all of my Brave tokens. How have you been getting them? And so now, whether I like it or not, I had to go out and find the Brave browser and get it and figure out how to log in and all this stuff. And
I've been
wouldn't
using
you
it
know
for months, maybe years.
there's a little bit of money in there. It's not too bad. But
I never used it for
I
transfers.
suppose we should just give up and try the Brave browser. The main reason I haven't tried it is because I think it's very similar to an idea we had called ProTip, which you can download at protip.is. And ProTip has the same interface as Brave, but it doesn't need its own token.
You understand that
and
the
it
Brave
didn't
is more
need-
than just
It didn't
a
need like a $50
tipping
million
interface.
company. I know they've made it around a browser.
A privacy based
Yeah,
browser.
Well, hopefully a privacy-based browser.
I've
but I
been
think
following it since the beginning.
I'll try it again. I'm still into the. I tried Safari for recently, and I can't stand Safari anymore. I think I'm going back to Chrome.
I've been using Chrome and I've been using Brave. I was doing Safari for a while. I liked Apple's the way that they handle their password protection and OS X. I believe that if your Macintosh and your SSH keys are secure, that your passwords for your websites are also secure. But somehow I ended up back at Chrome. But I was using Brave on and off, and I don't have any issues with them at the
I'll
moment.
definitely give it another try. And thanks to Joe from Wyoming from telling us from August 15th, 2018. And again, now that we are opening up voicemails, if you don't want to call right now, and we're going to give out that number one more time. I realize I didn't say it out loud. You've got to Skype us right now at World Crypto Network, all one word, or call us at 1-518-600. Bored people. I don't need a second computer. I don't need all this extra stuff. It's just the magic
Don't
of the
point at
board.
me when you say
And if
extra
you
stuff.
call in, I'm talking to the people in the camera over there. If you call in, you'll be testing the board. Otherwise, I'm going to play more voicemails. I don't care how old they are.
And maybe somebody can look up and see what was the price of Brave browser coin or whatever it is in 2018, and would we all have been better to have started using that browser?
I'd like to see it, and I'll bet that the price was at least $1, and I think right now it's 30 cents. So, wow, there's the thing. I don't have to do it myself anymore. I know, it's amazing. Thank you very much. So let's play some more voicemail. This is fun. Our next voicemail, these are all from August 2018. Apparently I was doing a lot of Bitcoin talk show in August. And remember, you can call and leave us a voicemail. If you're watching this later on, you can call us at 1-518-600-1949. And next, we're going to be checking our Skype messages. This is exhilarating and very exciting program. I can see you all rushing to the like button. You're like, I'm at work, and he's checking his voicemails. Here's one from August 16th, 2018. Bud Thompson. I think he's here in the chat.
Hey, Thomas, Bud Thompson. Appreciate what you're doing, sir. Talk to you soon.
Boom.
Don't call him sir.
Quality voicemail. Oh, yeah, I could technically call these people back. August 20th, 2018.
I think it's 9 o'clock in the morning
2
over there
seconds.
in America. You have to remember that we're broadcasting here from Spain, so it's a little bit of a time warp.
Oh, I know. It's 9 a.m. in America.
I'm sure
Here we
everyone
go,
is waking
August
up at
21st.
9 a.m.
Quincy.
Quincy.
Not really a comment or opinion on Roger, but I noticed something kind of weird the other day. If you go to rogerveer.com with an extra R, it looks like somebody forwarded it or bought the URL and just kind of forwarded it to Wikipedia article Breed. So that's kind of funny. I don't know, it's the worst thing that happened to blockchains and SEC, I guess. Keep up the good work. Watch you all the time. It's awesome.
Woo! All right, Quincy watches us all the time. He says if you go to Roger Ver with an extra R.com, it goes to a Wikipedia article about Roger Ver, probably about. Oh, we got our first caller here, Dan. We're going to give it a try. Hello, caller. You're live on the World Crypto Network, we think.
Testing. This
Says,
is Earth.
Speaker off. We can't hear you. Caller, are you there?
Is there anybody out there?
All of this great plan comes to a fruition. Dan, are you there? It says speaker off, camera off.
We're looking for Dan the man. Maybe you have to push the red button.
Microphone muted. I am here. Okay, so now I can hear you in the room, but why can't I hear you on the thing? iPhone speaker. Oh, Rodecaster Pro. Selecting the right output.
We are professional.
All right. Says my
People
microphone's
there.
muted. I'll mute my camera. Okay, Dan, say hello. Oh, I really thought it was going to work that time. I thought it was going to work. We're going to try one more time. All right. Dan, say hello. So you're just talking there, and then we switch it to the Rodecaster.
Stand by. We're trying to get you on the air here.
All right. How about now?
All right, no
Yeah.
Oh, every time. It works every time. All right, Dan, where are you from? And you're live on the World Crypto Network. Go ahead.
This is Dan from Grand Rapids. How is everybody today?
Doing great, man. Price is up a little bit. Always makes people happy. And we're in Barcelona. So the Mad Tour continues.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you, though, Dan.
Nice.
I'm originally from Southfield myself, so I'm a Michigander there.
Oh, no kidding. I actually grew up on 5 Mile and Southfield Road. So
Right on, man.
right in there.
So what's going on over there today? What do you got going on?
So one, I wanted to save the show from voicemails. Two, there is a version of the Brave browser that runs on a Lightning network.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
we can save ourselves from the BAT token. You know, I kind of feel like there hasn't been much news in Bitcoin other than the price action lately. There's just, you know, it's one of my favorite. Listening to this podcast when he talks. He says, you know, no matter what's going on in the world and governments collapsing and dollars doing whatever they're going to do and gold price going up and down or whatever the case might be, every 10 minutes another Bitcoin block gets produced. And the network doesn't care. The network doesn't care what the price is. It doesn't matter what the governments are doing. It doesn't care what anybody's doing. Every 10 minutes, another block is produced. And I always filter all of this news and all of the price action and all of the stuff that's happening all over the world with the fact that every 10 minutes, another Bitcoin block is produced. So it's great that the price is going up. I love that the price is going up. That's fantastic.
Is it up? I didn't check recently. You mean like up from
well,
5 years ago or up today? Or,
yeah, exactly. It's exactly, you know.
Is it below $10 yet? Please give me a call. And
Retracement.
doing better than
retracement.
Yeah, it's doing better than it was yesterday. So
if it's below $10, you might not be able to call me. I think I'll be out of credit.
I'll tell you what, the best thing that I've ever done for my life is delete Blockfolio. You know, you got to get that stuff off your phone. You got to stop looking at it every day. Obviously, if you're trying to, first of all, if you're trying to trade this stuff, then you have to look at it. Well, you have to pay attention to the price every day.
Mm-hmm.
And rule number 2 is don't trade this stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we've all learned that one.
Yeah, I've tried to do it for years now, and I end up just losing money and losing money and losing money.
Oh, I made a lot of money many times trading, but I definitely lost more.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong side of this one. My little cash pile is sitting there thinking it was going down, and we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, sure, long term, you still got your savings and stuff, but everyone's still, even years and later, you're still trying to time it right. You're still trying to, if I could get a 1.2 instead of a 0.8, I'd be set, you know, but it's always, it's always that little turn that you want. Yeah. So,
well, here's the thing that I do think that people that have been in it for a while need to realize is that, you know, there's this idea of taking profit and, boy, if it goes high enough, I'm going to take profit. But the other side of that is, I mean, really what you're doing is you're reducing your risk. And there gets to be a point where, you know, my wife and I watch game shows, and somebody wins, I don't know, 80 grand, and we go, wow, that is like a life-changing amount of money. You know, like that's such a significant amount of money that it really does impact the way you live your life, you know. And there's a point at which you can say, hey, I've got to reduce my risk here, because it's irresponsible of me to say, you know, what do they say? If you get in 3 years ago at any point in history, you've made money. And there is a point at which you get to where you say, look, having all of my eggs in one basket is not responsible. And you do have to pull back a little bit. And I know that we're all hyped up about this being, you know, the new financial system for the new world. And we see it doing to finance what the internet did for information and all that jazz. But
is it really people, though, pulling back and reducing risk, or is it increasing velocity and utility and people actually using Bitcoin instead of holding it?
So I think I see what happened is that when we got the pullback from 20,000, I was in like gonna huddle until I die.
Yeah.
I
know. I was saying, where was your speech when we were at 20K? You had you're nailing it on your speech, Dan. I was totally with you, but I was like, no, or you know, are down because, you know, now we're down and now we have less. And
I sold most of my Bitcoin at 200, so I mean, you're not getting any sympathy from me either way.
Well, and all my friends sold their Ethereum at 20, you know, and it's all these things that goes to 1,300. Yeah. I mean, it's no one knew the end of any of these things, and it's easy to look back now at the chart. But Dan, what were you saying? We're back up a little, right? So.
And that's the thing, you know, it's like, I think what I see had happened was all of the HODL gang, woke up from the fog of exuberance and said, boy, you know, hodling as a life strategy and as like I say, having personal responsibility for your family and stuff, maybe that's really not the best thing to be doing. And I didn't realize that until, I don't know, about $6,000.
The best thing for the community, or the best thing in general, like the living like a monk and just holding forever? Or, what do you mean? It
Right.
doesn't
Well,
benefit the
and
community, or it doesn't benefit your family?
it doesn't benefit your family. And, you know, when there's got to be a balance between that which benefits you and your family and that which benefits the community. Obviously, hodling benefits the community.
I kind of disagree.
But
I think increased velocity. I mean,
No.
what's the encouraging to? You mean selling for fiat, not spending or investing in the community, but just selling back
I
to
mean,
fiat?
here's the thing, though, is that I think spending's great, but when you spend your Bitcoin at a company that then instantly converts it to US dollars, you're your Bitcoin. And so that, as far as the community is concerned, is not good for the community.
Well, what about people that are spending their Bitcoins building businesses?
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. But I think that's a very, very small fraction of those people that hold Bitcoin. I know that for me, I'm just a regular guy, right? And every time I have somebody come out to do landscaping work or build a new retaining wall or something like that, I go, do you take Bitcoin? And they go, what's Bitcoin? Right? So in the real world, no one is using their Bitcoin to buy stuff.
When I said buy stuff, I just meant increase velocity and invest in things. I didn't mean specifically try to like buy Starbucks with it. I personally, sure, I'll use a company I won't mention names to that takes Bitcoin and sends a wire to American Express every month for me to pay my Amex bill. And I find no benefit from. Now, I will educate everyone. Every coffee shop I go to, I'll sit and spend 15 minutes explaining what
right.
is. Probably done it 10,000
whether
times.
they want you to or not.
Unfortunately, yeah. More at bars than at coffee shops, but I guess it depends how many pretty women are in the coffee shop.
It always works, right? The hot chicks love Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's exactly what I found. The conferences are definitely 90% women.
But I agree with you, Dan. I think we need to find a strategy in between HODL and a strategy in between trying to find the tops and the bottoms. I told people in a magazine recently they should do HODL plus profits. And if it goes up, 10,000%, taking 10% off of your stack, even though I know you're HODL till you die and all these kind of things, taking 10% off, if that would change your life, if 10% could help you pay down some of your credit card bills or pay off your car, your house. A lot of this too is I think people had trouble thinking big. You might have been up a little bit. I was up a little bit. I bought an Apple Watch and new shoes. And I should have paid off the house, and that's a tough choice to make because maybe you never won the lottery before. And we all won the lottery for about 2 weeks. There was about a 2-week lottery where you were a winner, and then it was back down. Yep. And then if you ditched on the way down, you got a little bit more, and then you got a little bit less, and you got a little bit less. And then even now,
I rode many crashes in Bitcoin down, man. I lost a lot of money on those crashes way before the 25,000 or whatever it was at its all-time.
At each new crash, a new generation of Bitcoin experiences it in different ways. This was the 1400 one. I could have gotten a small car, and this one was like, oh yeah, you could have paid off the house, but probably not anymore. So maybe the next one is way much bigger. Was all the wave people say they're like, oh, 60K, you won't care. 120K, you'll be laughing. And I think that's what they're saying in the chat. They're saying, yeah, if you shave off your 10%, if you shave off your 10%, you're gonna be sitting there crying at the end. But I don't know. It depends, right? And it's how much you put in, how much it's going up. It's risk, right?
It's risk, and that's the thing is that what people have to realize is that, well, first of all, like the last push up to 20 half a minute. So getting the psychology of oh my gosh, what if, or I could have, or and really like the all-time high that it hit. There's one person that sold the top, and so
Certainly wasn't
kind
me.
It's probably
Yeah,
Trace.
right, it wasn't me
Trace
either.
is really smart.
I know, he's amazing.
He is. He's good at timing too.
but
He's
yeah.
way better than us.
We can get the IRS on the line
Right.
here. Let's hear who the top.
But yeah, you just can't, you can't go through going, gee, what if, or I should have, or any of that stuff. I mean, if you sold when it dipped down to 3,000 this last year or so, then, you know, maybe it was just you making a responsible decision of saying, I have to take some risk off the
I'm
table.
still a much bigger believer in the services around Bitcoin, that nobody should say, I love cryptocurrency, I love blockchain technology. Let's go buy some specific coin and hope it goes up, because that's always a gamble. Back to the whole Tom Sawyer, let's sell the picks and shovels on the people on their way out to mine the gold and buy them back and then resell them to the next people that fail. I really believe that we have to increase the industry around crypto and not just hold all the time. I think that just holding it's not distributing wealth evenly. It's not helping out anything in the end of the situation. I really believe we need to build businesses around Bitcoin. We need to pay our employees in Bitcoin. We need to accept investments in Bitcoin, this kind of stuff.
And I think that's all true. But I think too, the reality is that most people aren't in the position to do that. They can advocate for that, and I think that's great. But I think the reality is that even people, I think, that are in that position, you, Thomas, for example, you travel the world and go to conferences and things like that.
He's crashing on my couch for free. He's not exactly staying in the
Did he pay you in
Ritz-Carlton.
Bitcoin? That's the question.
Yeah, he paid me in negative Bitcoin.
Yeah, right.
Testnet
No,
coins.
I mean the question is that being inside the circle, even being inside the circle, I would guess that the majority of your transactions on a daily basis are not Bitcoin.
Correct.
And that's just the world we live in. So my guess would be is that 90% of the Bitcoins, well, I should say probably 70 to 80% of the Bitcoins are bought for holding. And
I think 30 or 35% are already lost.
Yep, I think so too. I think so too.
And eventually people will calculate that in, and that'll affect how much they value Bitcoin, right? It'll change their affection.
Well, I think one of the best things I heard not too long ago was that if you treat crypto like a casino, it will treat you like a gambler. And
hey man, I hit number 8 one time in roulette, and it treated me really well.
That's right. You can get lucky. You can go out and you can buy Tron, and you can get really lucky. And
better to be smart than lucky, or lucky than smart?
I'm I'd rather be lucky than smart, honestly. But it's like one of those things where, yeah, you hear these stories of people getting lucky and going, I made $1 million on Dancoin, and isn't it awesome?
This is what I love about when it does take a big recess and then pulls back in price hugely. It seems to really weed out a lot of these. In the beginning of Bitcoin, a lot of computer nerds, a lot of people that were using these dark markets, essentially a lot of non-finance, non-businessman type people were the primary holders of Bitcoin. And I think when they all started businesses and it went way up, and then it crashed down, it actually kind of weeded out a lot of the people that didn't really belong in Bitcoin. And I actually, I don't think that Bitcoin at this point is a computer nerds project or a, something needed for dark markets. It's actually a global financial ecosystem. Sorry if that's the wrong thing that I mean to say, but I hope you understand what I mean.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I've always said that the thing that Bitcoin is designed for is when one country buys $1 billion worth of oil from another country. and they get in Bitcoin.
So that would be how many Bitcoin approximately? By that time, it'll probably be about 2 Bitcoins for a
couple.
billion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. For a whole tanker full.
No,
But see, I
for
think
$1
people don't
billion
realize-
worth of oil, we're talking 2 Bitcoins here coming up. It was predicted now.
Right. Right. And then who's worried about the fees, the on-chain fees then?
Exactly. No one cares about on-chain fees then.
Well, and I think the thing too is that no one, I thought of this the other day, is when people talk about on-chain fees, nobody ever talks about what it's worth. Not how much is the fee, but what is it worth to put data on a globally immutable ledger that will be around from now until the end of time? Because I guarantee you, in 100,000 years, there's gonna be one nerd running a node somewhere, So
They'll be on satellites if some of these people have their ways by what they're talking about.
That's right.
And the other,
on Mars, he'll be running one.
The other thing is that you don't necessarily need to have high transaction fees, even with regular old Bitcoin, just as it was, the regular blockchain or whatever, without all this lightning stuff and atomic sweeps and whatever else. I can set a fee of, the absolute minimum amount of Satoshis, which is almost nothing, and send Tom a transaction for a cup of coffee he bought me this morning. And if he trusts that it's going to come through, it basically costs me nothing. So, I mean, it's only really the trustless transactions where we need confirmations where it gets more expensive.
See, the thing is, though, is that I think that that's going to go away.
It's definitely going to go.
I think there will be a future where a 1,000 transactions every 10 minutes will have such a high value on it that there will be people and companies around the world willing to pay thousands of dollars to get their tiny
to prioritize
slice.
their transactions. It would be like American Express saying, listen, every time we send out a blockchain transaction, it's going to have, 300 different outputs to our different customers, and we want ours always going first, or maybe a mortgage company or something like that. But does that mean that we need more side chains, or does that mean we just need traditional infrastructure to integrate into blockchain? Like, would we prefer to have a lightning network or something, or would we prefer American Express to accept Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think most regular people are going to end up using side chains and what do they call it? Third parties, essentially. Because here's the thing, right? Is that if my bank, I trust my bank. I know a lot of people don't trust banks. I use
I
Huntington.
trust my
It's
bank to
awesome
rip me
bank.
off. And historically, if I look out my entire life through the history, they have done a very good job of that. I use Charles Schwab. I use Fidelity. These are both banks
Yep.
that claim to be free banks and all this kind of stuff. They treated me well
And I guess
compared to
what-
other banks, but I wouldn't say
Although
that
I
the
guess what
banks
I'm
aren't
saying is,
trusted by me.
I think that there are companies in the world that you can't trust. And so I think if my bank said, look, we're going to value everything in Satoshis and you're going to pay everything and we're going to keep our internal bank ledger, and then once a week we'll sync all of that up to the Bitcoin blockchain. That to me is probably what, and that is what most people are doing now. They just don't realize it. When you have value out in the exchange,
I don't follow you exactly. Can you explain me again exactly what you just described? I got lost a little bit.
So, like, if you have a sidechain, for example, right? I could make all my transactions on the sidechain and then get settled up to the Bitcoin blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
That sidechain is going to have risk and not as much trust, right? So what you get for that less risk and less trust is more speed. And so you could potentially have, it's just like the liquid blockchain can do right now. You can have transactions settling instantly, and you can say, look, no, it's not the Bitcoin blockchain, which is the most trusted financial system man has ever known. But for buying a cup of coffee, I don't need the most trusted financial system that man has ever known. I just need one that I sort of mostly trust.
So you believe in intermediaries such as some side chains, or you believe that we should have traditional intermediaries such as American Express? I don't send a wire to buy a Starbucks. I send a wire to Amex every month. Do you think that in the next 10 years or whatever time frame you want to choose, that we're going to be able to completely ever pay for everything with crypto? For me, I just find it almost impossible to believe, because I personally have had crypto a long time. And even with my crypto friends, we have problems sometimes sending crypto between each other at poker games and stuff. I mean, wallets aren't compatible. Stuff doesn't work correctly. So, I don't see how quickly we can jump into a full crypto economy.
Well, look at Libra. I mean, I think I have some dissenting opinions about Libra. I think Libra is a good thing.
Why don't you tell us about Libra briefly, just for those who don't know, such as myself?
Oh, okay. Libra is a cryptocurrency sort of effort led by the people at Facebook.
Okay,
yeah.
Did you see that somebody allegedly?
Because they're scared, which is all going, oh crap, they're gonna blow us out of the water.
I wouldn't underestimate the government and Facebook. I'm sure that the government's not telling Facebook anything, and that Facebook's not making billions of dollars giving the government whatever they want. So,
but if you look at the structure of Libra, it started by Facebook, and a lot of people like to call it Facebook coin and things like that. And I don't think people should be dismissive of Libra. And that's what they're doing. They're going, oh, it's Zuckbucks, it's Facebook coin, blah, blah, blah. And they're dismissing it. And I don't think they should, because it's a federated coin among potentially 100 operators, right? And I'm not saying these people aren't in it for themselves, but it's a federation of 100 operators, and it's based on a basket of currency. It's not pegged to the dollar.
How different is this from when I send right now on Facebook, when I send Thomas $5 for a beer he bought me yesterday or something via Facebook Pay? Is it not?
It's completely different. And I wouldn't say it's completely different. It's different in the effect that this is not Facebook's coin. It's their effort that they're leading. But they're essentially one of the 23 voters on the network right now, and they're hoping to be 100. Now, I'm not, because Libra is based on a basket of currencies, it's not like you can make any money off of it, right?
A basket of fiat or a basket of crypto.
So my suspicion, and they have not released this, but my suspicion is that it will be a combination of, if you've ever heard of an SDR, special drawing rights, essentially it's going to be a little bit of dollar, it's going to be a little bit of yen, it's going to be a little bit of pound, it's going to be a little bit of gold, and it might be a tiny slice of Bitcoin, right?
No.
So now you've got something that's relatively stable, and all these people in these countries that you've never heard of, whose currency is going to the ground, start interacting in Libra, and they go, wow, my currency is maintaining, like, I can get as many groceries last week as I did this week. This is a pretty good deal.
This is like
right?
what happened
So
with the M-Pesa or whatever it was called over in Africa, right?
That's right. And then step 2 is they'll see Bitcoin going up relative to their Libra coin and go, gee, this Libra coin, this thing is great for, like, paying the fruit guy at the market and stuff like that. But boy, if I really want to maintain and maybe increase my value, I should get some exposure to Bitcoin.
I'm just afraid that in 10 years, we're going to be taking our mortgages out from Facebook, and they're going to base our rates upon how many friends we have and how many times they have defaulted and this kind of stuff. Like, I understand that their intentions might seem transparent, but do we really trust this application? Like, look at them in the last 10 years.
Right. And I think there's legitimate concern there. But also to keep in mind, if you have 100 validators from 100 different companies, it only takes one validator. I mean, you have to get a unanimous decision to block a transaction.
When you're where's Facebook, 50 billion or $100 billion company or something? I have no idea, but I don't think when it's that big of a company, it's that hard to actually. I don't know. This kind of goes against the entire my entire principles of Bitcoin, which is not that one super expensive and rich company gets to pick 100 companies that get to approve the decisions. That is that not different than a Republican democracy where we've elected officials to represent us?
It's an unfortunate result of Satoshi's revolution. Yes.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think to myself that there's a use for all of this stuff. Well, there's not, but I always tell people that if they're looking into a coin, identify its market advantage. Because it's just like with Bitcoin Cash, fast and cheap, fast and cheap, fast and cheap.
It's going to go away fast.
I always thought
it turned out fast and cheap, just like that. Yeah.
Well, and I always thought to myself that fast and cheap is not a problem that we're trying to solve.
I do like Roger, though. Roger's a good guy. I don't think that he's. I think that him causing this whole commotion in the community was not necessarily the best way of going about doing his thing, but he makes some good points. I do like Roger a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and me too. I really think 2 things. One, I think that he did it because he truly believed, which is fine. I mean, that was, he truly believed that something bad was happening in BTC, and he felt the need to do something about it. So that's totally cool. I don't like the fact that he tried to steal the brand and stuff like that. I think that was a little creepy.
I don't like how he split up people. I don't like how he turned community against community, and the news and the publicity and all that resulted from it was good. But the fact that we actually literally turned a little small community of friends into some people ostracized and stuff like this, I'm not sure that I appreciate.
I think if he had just said, look, I don't think you guys are going the right way. I'm going to go my own way, and we're going to do our own thing, which I think is going to be better. But you guys do your thing, and I'll do my thing.
Well, that's the whole reason that we have a consent. Like, we don't need to go out there and say that they suck, come with us. We just can let us on their own.
Right. Yeah. So I guess back to my point with the fast and cheap thing is that they had no market advantage, because
fast and cheap is everywhere. So all of a sudden, once people realized that fast and cheap wasn't the game, because fast and cheap is already here and done, then it's got no market advantage to it. Now, that being said, I think Libra, bringing that back into it.
Just to comment
It's
really
got some
quickly, I think that
interesting things, right?
Bcash had some things other than fast and cheap going on, such as direction of development and this kind of stuff. I don't want to get into details on it. It's not worth the time, but I don't think it was just fast and cheap. But go ahead and let's hear your thoughts on Libra.
Yeah, I think that was their primary pitch. And that's what most people heard. But anyway, the Libra coin has fast and cheap going for it, right? And it's also got stability going for it. So if you can get fast and cheap and stable, you're gonna wipe out 90% of the altcoin market. And people do want that. And one of the networks that I was kind of curious about was EOS, because they sacrifice decentralization for fast and cheap, and they know it, and they admit it, and they say that's the point. So they go, look, not every transaction that you make has to have the highest level of decentralization and security.
Well, this is another question that comes up a lot, is the difference between privacy and decentralization and security. I mean, do we really need every transaction to be private? Do we really need it to be decentralized?
Right. Yep. Now, the privacy thing, I kind of waffle on a little bit, because it's like with Zcash, you can make a private transaction or not make a private transaction. What happens in that ecosystem then is, if you make a private transaction, then you are under suspicion for making a private transaction in the first place. If all transactions are private, then there's no difference between the private ones and the not private ones. So I am more for private transactions
by default,
all the way through.
Yeah.
By default,
by requirement. This is kind of what's his Kim.com or whatever, what he's doing with the whole mega thing is. They said that, don't quote me here, but you were storing pirated software or this and that. And he said, okay, well, fine. Well, we'll just go ahead and encrypt absolutely everything. So how can you possibly, it's just anonymous IPs sending us anonymous encrypted data. How could you possibly accuse me of doing anything?
That's right. And that's the way to do it. And I don't know if we're going to get privacy on the base layer of Bitcoin. I go back and forth on whether that's even necessary or a good idea.
Well, it's certainly not possible of most side chains, especially these Lightning networks and stuff. Without privacy, how can we have any trust?
Well, I mean, I think it's by default on the Lightning network. And I think the only consideration there is that right now, I think most Lightning wallets are custodial, right? So then, you've got the transactions between your custodial wallet and the other person's wallet is private, but your transaction with the custodian is not. And again, people don't know all this stuff. They don't really understand how it all works. But I do think a lot of stuff, again, going back to that third party thing, I think a lot of stuff is going to be custodial. It's simpler, it's easier.
So far as people not understanding all this stuff, I don't understand half the way I get charged fees at my bank. I don't understand how the mortgages work. I don't understand how half of the traditional financial system operates. So, I mean, it's not for anybody who's listening that doesn't understand all this stuff to the detail. It's not a big deal. This is just the under the hood stuff, like, do research and learn more. It's all transparent. It's open source stuff that you can look into. But don't feel that because you don't fully understand it, that it's a problem. I don't understand fully what's going on with my bank and stuff like that. So,
your bank is advantages because of it.
Without a question.
So that's the other thing to know, is that it's certainly not any more risky than the current financial system.
Just remember
But-
that it's a zero-sum game, that in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, you have to take your own finances and consumer protection under your own hand. This is not something where you can call up, you lost your phone and that's where you had your $10 million in Bitcoin. You can't just call up Chase or Amex and say, hey, somebody robbed my phone, send my $10 million back. I mean, when we give up letting these people rip us off, we also give up that consumer protection that we're paying for by letting them rob us, essentially. So people have to be more vigilant and more aware and more aggressive in protecting their own personal finances and knowing what's going on.
And I think there are people that will choose to pay that fee for the consumer protection. I think Coinbase is a good example. Finally
They're a great example.
This kills me.
And Satoshi had posts about this on early Bitcoin talk, saying that there would eventually be intermediaries, that it would not be that every average user has to understand the full complexity of the network and everything else.
Right.
But go ahead, continue with your Coinbase example. I would like to hear how you phrase it.
Yeah. So I finally talked to a buddy of mine, and I've been talking for years about Bitcoin, saying, oh, you should get some Bitcoin. You should get some Bitcoin. So he went out onto Coinbase and he bought XP. Killed me. But the point being is, he was talking to me about, oh, well, do I get a hardware wallet? How do I do all this stuff? And I said, the reality of it is that if you got less on Coinbase, then you would be in tears for losing. Just keep it there.
I stored,
support.
I don't know, thousands of Bitcoins on Mt. Gox for years, and most of them are still there.
Oh.
We also want to recognize we've had a donation. We've had our 19th donation. Thanks to donor 16,832 Satoshis. Thanks for your support. And you can scan the QR code right now to send Bitcoin or Lightning Network to help us buy more gear and more electronic stuff.
Of Coinbase, but I do agree that intermediaries such as themselves do have a place in this ecosystem that make it easy, that have like BitPay with the credit cards and BitPay with the merchant services that offer the first, I don't know if they do it anymore, but back in the day, they used to offer the first $1 million at 0%. People like this definitely have a place because they allow your merchants and your regular users to get credit cards that are backed by Bitcoin to, do to and from their bank accounts on an American company and this kind of stuff. So I think there are a place for Coinbases. I just, I don't know. Coinbase gave me some of my first Bitcoins.
You don't keep any more than your wallet money, and if I think
the problem with that is you never know when your wallet money is going to become worth more than your house.
Well, and then that's when you need to get serious, right? That's when you need to learn about hardware wallets, and you need to learn about.
Back in 2011, we didn't have hardware wallets, but somebody go and slap me in the face back in 2011 and tell me if I can write my shit down because that cost me a few yachts.
Well, and I think this goes back to something Dan was saying earlier, that we have to kind of prepare for next time right now. We don't know how much Bitcoin's going to go up or even down in the future. And let's prepare for the positive as well as the negative. If the negative happens, yes, we're all going to lose our investment. We're all going to lose our life savings, things like that. But if the positive happens in the same way, we want to thank another donation. We've had our 20th donation here. So it really is working. Lightning Network or Bitcoin. You can send us donations.
Sorry, we only accept Bcash.
And we got 100,000 Satoshis. So thanks to our most recent donor, sent us 100,000 Satoshis. But like Dan was saying, I got a watch and some shoes. Other people need to be thinking about paying off their credit cards. They need to think, if 10% of this incredible value that I've gotten from hodling and that I got from buying the right altcoin at the right time, or whatever you did that made you a great amount of 10% change your life, maybe 30% or 40%.
Well, that's where I'd have to argue with you.
Well, I think sometimes you have to take some
Don't
profits
trade
off the
debt-based
table,
currency
so.
for non-debt-based currency.
Yeah. But pay off your credit cards, get into a good situation. If buying a new car would change your life.
When I bought my house, it was $700 a Bitcoin. So, I mean, yeah, that was great. I bought a house. Great. Ooh la la. Can I please go
Right,
back
but
and have
imagine
20
this
houses
situation.
now?
Well,
Imagine this situation though, right? Of what if, okay, so let's say for round numbers, your house is $100,000. So
A little less than that, but yeah, let's call it that.
okay, let's say you have $200,000 in Bitcoin, and you say, I'm going to sell half my stash. Oof, half. Geez, I'm going to take half my stash and pay off my house. Then I'm going to take the money that I was putting towards my mortgage and start rebuying Bitcoin. I'm going to dollar cost average on a monthly
That's
basis.
exactly what I was.
that mortgage
That's
money
exactly what
is
I
going
was
back
saying to
into
do
Bitcoin.
earlier in the show. However, I wouldn't take half and sell it all at once. When you're investing in Bitcoin, I would slowly buy in,
Yeah,
and when you're selling out, I would slowly sell out.
slowly. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But once you do get it paid off, then, like I said, it's time to take that money and reinvest. Now, you need to also say at that point, I am reinvesting. What do I reinvest in? How much do I believe in Bitcoin? How strongly do I believe in Bitcoin? Should it be gold? Should I put more money into my 401k?
Well, that's rebalancing your
to
portfolio.
Be a responsible adult about this.
You're
That's
not really
rebalancing
reinvesting, you're rebalancing. Yeah.
Rebalancing
right.
is a really
That's
good
right.
idea.
And-
And it's something that people might not have thought about before. You might not think, wow, I'm 100% into Bitcoin. I don't have any real estate. I don't have any gold. I don't have any savings.
Should never be 100% into anything.
See, exactly. But a lot of people are, and they don't want to leave. They want to stay 100%.
That's
Those are the
because of
gains,
the
the big gains.
What do they call that?
It's also
Fool's
big
logic,
losses.
where when something keeps working, even though it's not the correct thing, like you keep making money just holding Bitcoin and doing nothing and hoping it's going to go up higher and higher. And because it keeps doing so, you keep believing you're right. Like it's kind of a fallacy.
It is.
Yeah. Here's the other reality too, is I bet you there was a penny stock in the last year that made more than Bitcoin did on a percentage basis. And so you're always going to have a lost opportunity. And you can sell at 6,000 and then just bite your nails and beat yourself up when the price goes above it. But you're always going to have a lost opportunity. But at some point, you got to start thinking about the risk side of the equation and just saying, hey, if I blindly hodl for the rest of my life, is that really the smartest and most responsible thing to do?
I would also say, though, to not just sell out all of your crypto for fiat and go and pay off all of your fiat debt. I would say also to realize that Bitcoin, is right now probably a little bit overvalued. And let's look at some of the innovation and the new coins and stuff like this and put, $10 in each one and just learn how it works. I'm not saying to go out there and sell your house so that you can buy some XXX coin or whatever. I don't know if XXX coin is actually a coin. I just meant to say any random.
Somebody's registering xxxcoin.com right now.
Yeah. So I actually was just saving you from the voicemail. I didn't really think I had much to say, but
you certainly did
talker,
today,
so
Dan. You were ready for it, man. So
it was really nice to talk to you, man.
And
really nice
give
to
us
talk
a
to
call anytime. We're going to try to do the show more. And a really neat note here today: the board kept us going even while the computer was crashing. The Chrome browser had taken a dump on me, so I had to restart the Hangout. I could tell from the chat.
So even when Thomas is broken and the computer is broken, the board still works.
The board still worked, and it's on the little SD card forever.
The board's like the Bitcoin blockchain. It keeps the show going.
The Bitcoin Baron. I did buy him a roll of duct tape the day he bought that board, just in case.
Special duct tape. You're going to need that. But thanks so much, Dan, for the call. Give us a call anytime.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Whatever your independence you're celebrating is. We're actually in Catalonia, which is a separate part of Spain. It has its own independence or whatever. So it's it's an interesting place to
It's a very interesting region. And if you'd like, you can call us now on Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. Just add us as a friend, or at 1-518-600-1949. I will try to keep the show going a little bit longer. I would just want to go what you guys have been saying in the chat. You were talking about Facebook coin and Libra, and people did not exactly trust old Facebook. They had some negative comments about Zuck, and they just weren't too much into it with the old Facebook coin. So let's see. All right. But yeah, I'm going to keep talking. I can't do 100 things at once. But if you want to call us, otherwise, we're going to go and check out some more voicemail, see if we can finish them out. Remember, part of this voicemail means that you can call us again at later on. Even if you're watching this on a replay, you can call us at 518-600-1949 in the USA and leave us a voicemail. We're going to switch over, see if we can get that fundraiser up on there. We're hearing reports that it doesn't work in some of the Lightning wallets, but not the other ones. But put that up. It's old Valley coin there.
It just doesn't work, I guess.
Oh no, it worked. We got a couple bucks in donations. It's humming. Here we go from August 29th, 2018. Here's somebody else talking about Bitcoin. Oh no, let's skip to the end. Go back to the beginning.
I would love to go back to the beginning.
Let's see. That doesn't work. Okay, let's try it one more time. Here we go. Bang. It's to the end. It's quite a software you made, Google. Okay, let's try the other hand. Play. Come on, Google.
I tried to get you on the show today, Thomas, so I'll try again another day. I just thought the last caller, I think we have to be open to all avenues of Bitcoin's egress into the financial system. I think it is going to metastasize and latch on to these financial institutions.
Metastasize.
They under the false impression that they'll control it, but it'll flip and they'll all use.
Oh, we lost it.
It's going to be more like the chemo for the cancer. We are going to eliminate the traditional financial system, not be a cancer that bothers it.
It likes to play, but it doesn't like to fast forward much.
Financial institutions.
There you go.
They under the false impression that they'll control it, but it'll flip and they'll all use the network, the Bitcoin network, for railing money around the planet. So, hey, have a great day.
Brock Pierce.
Great job, by the way. I've been listening to you for years, and you've done very well, Thomas.
Is this 2018 too?
All right, thanks so much. That's August 29th, 2018.
Okay, that's what Brock, I saw him last week over in the Unchained conference in Berlin. I think you were there as well.
Yeah.
And he was all talking about Rails on and off. And
Hello,
this and that.
is it me?
Hello, is it me? All right, here's a call from September 8th, 2018. These are more classic phone calls here. So.
I guess we have to let the globalists win one. They knocked me out, and that's unfortunate, but I'll try you back later.
Oh, sounds like we had the Alex Jones impression going there.
What happened there?
I don't want the globalists to win this one. Here, we'll play it. We'll see if we can play it one more time. We have infinite control now.
I guess we have to let the globalists win one. They knocked me out, and that's unfortunate, but I'll try you back later.
What's a globalist to you, Thomas?
Globalists are the secret conspiracy that run the world. Here's another one from September 8th. Oh, this guy's got his phone number too. See if we can mute that part.
Hey, bro, it's Crypto Dave. How's it going? Give me a call back, 619-787-46.
His phone number anyway. We pause it. It's on the wrong one. It's on some different one. But that's fine. People got to stop saying their phone number.
Otherwise, you're going to get lots of prank calls. I'm going to call you in the middle of the night.
Oh, there are going to be some phone calls here. Let's
see. I will not. That might be the worst goddamn fucking shit I've ever heard. I will not.
Okay. That guy disagrees. He will not. He will not be in the setup.
Everybody loves a critic.
Let's see.
If anybody else has anything to complain, please call in. We're open to your criticisms. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
I don't know. This one's going to ramble a little bit. Let's see.
Hey, my name is Mark Benjamin. And Mike kind of had a question that regards to, is there a way to integrate the different altcoins into Bitcoin so that they can be codependent?
Codependent?
Absolutely. I mean,
So
there's
if you
many
have the
coins
time,
doing that.
please answer that question on air or off air and have a wonderful day.
We'll answer it on
And
there. There's lots of
what I
coins.
kind of mean with that is like,
he's got more.
Have some sort of node that might carry other nodes within a different coin.
Master
Or
node with
maybe
system nodes.
use
He's got more.
like something from EOS to hash Bitcoin and or Ethereum or something like that. I'm not a coder,
Hash Bitcoin
so
with
I don't
EOS, but
know
it'll be
whether
really
that's
expensive.
possible or not.
It is possible. It'll be really
Please,
expensive.
You could get hash with
if you have the
Bitcoin.
time, answer that question and have a wonderful day.
All right, now he's really done. Yeah, I think that's part of what they're doing with liquid sidechains is they're going to put sidechains onto Bitcoin, and it'll be kind of like altcoins on Bitcoin.
This is kind of like what NFT technology is doing with ground networks right now. They're trying to actually post their kind of token transactions on the actual Bitcoin network so that it's on the most stable, reliable mine network, but they are still, they have their own network that's doing the actual processing and such, but the records are stored on the Bitcoin network.
And that's a really good use for altcoins is to be trying out things. They're kind of a laboratory for Bitcoin. We are listening to old voicemails live. This one's from March 29th of this year. Oh, this sounds good. Oh, no, it went away. Come on, come back. It's one of those car warranty things. Oh, come on, play.
Call before we close out your file. Press 2 to be placed on our do not call list. Or press 1 to speak to a warranty advisor about extending or reinstating your car's warranty.
What
Once
everybody's
again, press
doing now
1
is
now.
they're faking numbers. So when they
Press
call,
1
it's
now.
coming from like every other number that looks like they're from my local area code and stuff, man. They've got this all figured out.
Name is Tony.
Tony gives his phone number and his email. Remember not to give your phone number and your email. Is spell it really good. Here we go. Here's Tony's questions.
And my question is basically, I bought some crypto a while back. Haven't been into it lately or for months. I haven't been keeping up with things, reading or anything. So I've been hearing something about has Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash is one of them fork, or was there a segue or something? I just wanted some current information on that.
It's called Bcash now.
Live, so I figured I'd call in. I don't have to Skype on this particular computer. All right, if you can give me some information on that, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, shout out to Tony. Yeah, there was a fork in Bitcoin. They created a kind of a copy of Bitcoin called Bitcoin Cash. It's not really related to Bitcoin. It's not like Bitcoin, the brand name, had another one. It's these other guys, and they're doing other things. You can debate about what it's about. Some people say it's about bigger blocks and cheaper transactions. Other people say it's about ASIC boost and having a bonus to the network. But you have to read some more about that. You have to Google that up. And we're pretty much running out of voicemails. We had one really good phone call. We had a great time talking to Dan from Grand Rapids. If you guys want to call in next time, we'll be taking your calls right here on Skype, World Crypto Network, all one word. Or you can give us a call on the phone at 1-518-600-1949. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we're now going to try to check our voicemails a little more often than once a year.
Yeah.
Something like that. We'll get into a little bit more of a habit here. So send us a voicemail.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Yeah, exactly. The Bitcoin show that calls you. Thanks so much to Mike Dupree for being our guest. Mike, where can people check out your work? Can they follow you on Twitter?
No.
Well, you have to learn more about Mike, and of course, check out EasyBit, Bitcoin ATMs, good stuff from Mike and his company that he works with. So we'll be back again tomorrow with another episode of Today in Bitcoin, our brief update show. And we're trying to get the Bitcoin group together. I just have to write it, and then I have to find the Bitcoin group. So I'll work on that.
I just hope there is a tomorrow in Bitcoin. So if
There'll
it's above $10, let's do another show.
As long as it has some kind of value, it still works. And thanks so much to everybody for joining us. Give us a thumbs up and a share. And until next time, bye-bye.